Today, we'll be taking a look at Alexa Bliss and some other returns coming up in the women's division, new rumors with Kevin Owens, a Bloodline situation, and more. Let's start things off with this update for the women's division. Royal Rumble time is approaching soon, so naturally, the conversations of some big returns are starting to pop up. So we'll focus on the women's division today because a lot of stars seem to be getting close to a return. The first star being Alexa Bliss. Alexa teases her return from time to time with cryptic messages, but still not much is known about her actual return. All we know is that Alexa was drafted to Raw, so she will appear on Raw upon her return. When will it happen? Well, if Alexa doesn't pop up during the month of December, that means we're looking at an early 2022 return for Alexa Bliss. There's been a lot of reports and articles about how WWE wants to make the new Day 1 event special and important. So, could they use Alexa's return at the show to elevate it even more? It's a possibility, but of course, the more popular return spot would be at Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble returns are great because it's 100% shock factor and it's a nice genuine surprise. There's two types of returns in WWE: full shock factor returns and then returns that get announced a week or so in advance. Everyone has their own preference on what type of returns they like to see, but when you think of an ordinary return, you might slightly lean over to a return that's both surprising and impactful. And that's what a Royal Rumble return could be like for Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss entered the 2021 Royal Rumble at a great position of 27 last year, and considering that she was just starting to put her supernatural abilities on display at the time, she was favorite to win it all. However, they had a clever way of writing Alexa out of the match, and that was having Rhea Ripley eliminate Alexa while she was in the middle of her Fiend-like transition. So, that was what they used last year to safely get Alexa Bliss out of the match without hurting her momentum. But let's just say she does return at Royal Rumble. Unless she wins the whole thing, you're going to have the same issue again. The same issue of, how do we get Alexa Bliss out of this match without hurting her momentum? So that's the one tricky part about a Royal Rumble return for Alexa Bliss. It almost feels like she'll have to win the match if she has this massive return during the Royal Rumble match. So it's pretty tough to predict, but hopefully we get to see Alexa Bliss back on Raw real soon. Alexa isn't the only massive 2022 return that we'll see next in the women's division. Lacey Evans has also showed her progress and how close she is to returning following the birth of her second child. Before her pregnancy, Lacey was playing a big role on television with Charlotte Flair. Reports claim that had Lacey stuck around for WrestleMania 37, WWE was allegedly considering Lacey Evans vs. Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's title on that show. But Lacey had to leave, and then Charlotte tested positive a few weeks prior to WrestleMania 37, so that match never went down. But with Lacey getting closer to her return, she's another big candidate for a 2022 return. Asuka is another one. She hasn't been seen since July, but knowing how impactful of a star she is in the division, everyone expects Asuka to return and make a big impact right away. Bayley is another return that we will see in 2022. Bayley went down with a torn ACL right around summertime in 2021. It's a very serious knee injury. She's still walking around with that massive knee brace on, so she won't be ready in early 2022, but right around spring 2022 is likely the more ideal spot for a return from Bayley. So the women's division is doing amazing right now, and more great reinforcements are on the way for the division. We'll see how all those returns play out. Kevin Owens' WWE contract status became a huge topic of discussion a few months ago after it was revealed that he was set to become a free agent on January 31st, 2022. Well, now we're quickly approaching that date, and the topic of his contract status is coming up once again. So what's the latest word and rumor here? Well, reports claim to still be sticking to the narrative that Kevin Owens' time in WWE is done. They claim that Kevin Owens has been included into the WWE title match between Big E and Seth Rollins because he'll most likely be the individual to take the pin from Big E. If it is true that Kevin Owens is leaving WWE, then he can afford to take the pin because he obviously won't be sticking around. So the pinfall won't hurt him and ultimately won't matter. Kevin Owens taking the pin will also serve as a nice bridge to Big E vs. Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins can be furious that Kevin Owens got pinned and cost him the match. Seth Rollins would then want a singles match with Big E, where no one else could get in the way of the two of them, and then that's how we get their singles feud. So obviously no one knows what Kevin's decision will be at this very moment of time, but it can go either way. Maybe news does come out in a few weeks that he signed an extension, or maybe he truly is wrapping up with WWE. Only time will tell. We know that WWE usually sits down and talks with talent that has an expiration contract coming up. They usually have some meetings with them. They go over future plans and ideas that they have in store for them to basically sell them on the idea of staying. We saw that happen most recently with Adam Cole, where he was in and out of the main roster meetings of them pitching all these different ideas for him if he was to stay, but he ultimately decided to leave for AEW. So maybe that's what the situation comes down to as well. Maybe they'll pitch a few things to Kevin Owens, and basically the entire pro wrestling universe will be waiting to see what his decision will be. One of the biggest Bloodline fan theories that have been out there for the longest time is the theory of a female family member of Roman's family joining the Bloodline. The two most talked about options for the whole role being Nia Jax, who is his cousin, or Naomi, who's related through marriage. Those were the two options fans came up for with this role. Well, one fan on Twitter recently asked Nia Jax how she felt about the theory and if she was one of the missing pieces for the Bloodline. Nia responded with a strong answer and said, quote, "Hard effing no," end quote. Nia didn't say anything else besides those three words, so no one knows her detailed reasoning for saying no. But it looks like she wasn't a fan of the popular fan theory and being the missing piece for Roman Reigns. Nia has now been obviously released by WWE and has said that she doesn't plan on wrestling again, so she's officially out of the theory. There's still Naomi hanging around, but she's in the middle of her own major babyface story right now, so it really doesn't make any sense for her to align herself with the heel Bloodline at this current moment. But who knows what the future may hold. Maybe Naomi could potentially team up with Roman and the family more down the line. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.